One of the most common struggles that I've witnessed in my many decades of working with clients one on one is the deep sense of despair, regret, and overall sense of feeling stuck in life that comes with going against your better judgment. Nearly daily, I hear stories from clients that begin with, "Deep down, I knew," but then the story ends with, "I just didn't listen." Can you relate? I know I can. We've all been there, done that. A lot of times we don't really consciously recognize when we've done this until after the fact, in retrospect, when we begin to recognize the negative consequences that occur because of going against ourselves. However, the greatest cost of going against your better judgment goes way beyond a misalignment on your path. I mean, that's enough, that's a lot. But the even deeper cost is that every time you go against yourself, every time you choose against what your inner best judgment is, you're essentially unconsciously affirming a pattern of self neglect. Common ways that we do this can look like staying in a toxic relationship well above and beyond the call of duty, ignoring a personal sense of burnout that you have going on in your life, ignoring red flags, saying yes when you really mean no, and essentially seeking outside of yourself for answers. Now, each and every one of us is built with an inner compass that naturally enables us to know what is aligned for you, what's not aligned for you, what's true for you, what's not true, what's good for you, what's not good for you. So, why do we go against that? It basically comes down to being taught to override it, to favor external authority. And on even deeper levels, many of us are conditioned into people pleasing behaviors because there's consequences of not saying yes. There's consequences that come with not honoring your own boundaries. This is connected to deep unconscious survival instincts, a need to feel loved and accepted and supported. And so, this conditioning, this learning to override our inner compass, this learning and conditioning to value and seek external authority over your own typically occurs as children. And then it becomes a deeply unconsciously ingrained pattern that we stay stuck in. But we don't have to stay stuck in it. As a sovereign, autonomous adult, not only are you allowed to value your own best judgment, it's in your best interest to do so because that inner compass of yours is the thing that is your personal GPS, your navigation tool that is meant to guide you in the direction of your personal, most fulfilling experience of reality. So the recalibration into self trust begins by just consciously noticing and observing when you're doing this. An easy way to begin observing that is paying attention to the signals that your body gives you. Typically speaking, even on like the most basic, visceral, primal body wisdom level, if you're going against yourself, your body will, in some way or another, experience some form of internal resistance or constriction or contraction, which can be your first indicator that there's something not aligned here. And being willing to have deeper introspection around that. You can simply ask yourself, is this choice that I'm about to make or this action that I'm about to say yes to, is it truly aligned with my inner yes or my inner no? Am I going against that? Is this serving me or not? So beginning with, I guess, just a mindfulness practice, of being more aware of what your body responses are to those choices that you make is the first step to becoming more conscious of where you're doing this. And then you begin the return to self trust journey every time you choose in alignment with what your authentic yes is. This reminds me of a spiritual teaching that comes from shamanism that I learned from one of my teachers. And the teaching is don't go against yourself, don't create circumstances that go against you, and don't align with people that go against you. So, going against yourself means going against your own body, going against your own values, going against your own passions, preferences, needs. And that's because doing so, going against yourself, going against your better judgment, ultimately leads to an extreme disconnect with the core authentic being that you are. It leads to disempowerment, which can then lead to different types of psycho-spiritual imbalances, disorders, mental and emotional health challenges, even physical health challenges. And so the journey to reconnecting with the deepest, most authentic, most expansive aspect of who you are on that authentic level begins with asking yourself, am I moving more towards myself or am I moving farther away from myself with this choice that I'm making or this action that I'm taking? Every time you find the courage to say yes when you really mean yes, say no when you really mean no, is a step in the direction back to building an empowered, healing, self trusting relationship with yourself, which ultimately brings a whole new dimension of empowerment and benefit to every aspect of your life. And I encourage you to practice this. Practice being mindful of when you're going against yourself or not. Practice not going against yourself by being committed to choose in alignment with your authentic truth, your authentic compass of yes or no. And then be aware and notice the positive results that happen based on that. You will begin to see life taking on a whole new shape that is aligned with your personal truth when you have the courage to choose in alignment with that. And that can start by asking yourself, where in my life have I been going against myself? And be willing to be honest about that without judgment, without criticism, just a simple awareness gaining question that you can pose to yourself, because this is going to give you the starting point of where to begin applying the courage to say yes to your inner truth. What could change for you even as soon as this week by choosing alignment instead of misalignment? Where are you at in the journey right now? Are you steeped deep in a life that is the result of going against yourself? Are you steeped deep in a life that is aligned with saying yes to your inner truth? Are you wavering somewhere in between? Do you have questions about how this shows up in you or your life that I may be able to shed some additional light on? If so, drop a comment below or simply reach out if you'd like to book a transformational coaching session with me. All my love, blessings, and I'll see you in the next video.